Mary was 12 years old and home alone on Christmas night, sitting by the fireplace with the TV glowing blue. "We'll be back soon," her father added. Then the doorbell rang. The sound was sharp, too clear. The doorbell rang again, seeming closer this time. She approached the door and looked through the peephole. It opened slowly, the hinges whispering. Something stood there. It was tall, too tall for the doorway, its form bending subtly, as if it had learned how to be human by watching from a distance. Its body wasn't solid, not smoke. It was something in between, a darkness that swallowed the porch light instead of reflecting it. And its eyes, they were bright, not glowing warmly, not shining. They reflected nothing. Two polished points of awareness set deep within the shadow. Milo snarled and lunged forward, barking violently. The creature tilted its head, and then it was gone. It didn't step away or retreat. It was simply absent, as if the space it occupied had been erased. Mary slammed the door shut and locked it, her hands shaking now. Milo pressed against her legs, growling at the wood as if the thing still stood just inches away. Her heart pounded, loud in her ears. She grabbed her phone and called her parents. It rang twice before her mother answered. "We're on the road," she said. "Traffic's slow. Everything okay?" Mary swallowed. Someone was at the door. There was a pause, then a gentle, tired laugh. "Probably a neighbor, sweetheart." "No," Mary insisted, "it wasn't." Silence crackled on the line. Then her father's voice came through, calm but firm. "Mary, lock the doors. We'll be home soon." The line went dead. Mary stared at the phone, and in that moment the house changed. A door upstairs creaked open, then another slammed shut. Milo barked wildly, spinning in circles, tracking something Mary couldn't see. The fireplace flickered violently, shadows stretching and snapping back across the walls. Footsteps moved down the hallway, not heavy, not light, just measured. Her breathing came in shallow gasps. She could feel it now, the same presence, but everywhere at once, in the walls, in the ceiling, behind her eyes. A door slammed upstairs. Another opened. The TV cut to static. A shadow passed through the hallway entrance, not fully forming, just enough to bend the darkness, to disturb the air. Its eyes appeared again, closer now, watching. It wasn't rushing. It seemed to be enjoying this. Mary understood then. Whatever had rung the doorbell hadn't left at all. It was already inside. Milo lunged, barking, his teeth snapping at nothing. The shadow recoiled, not in fear, but in what felt like irritation. It then slid along the wall, spreading, filling the corners of the room. Every door in the house opened at once, then they all slammed shut. Then they opened again. The sound was deafening. Mary dropped to her knees, wrapping her arms around Milo, pressing her face into his fur. She focused on breathing, on staying still. Minutes passed, or maybe seconds. The chaos slowed. The doors stopped. The shadow gathered near the ceiling, stretching thin, as if deciding something. Suddenly, headlights swept across the front windows. A car door slammed. Voices. Her parents. The shadow froze. Then it slid backward, thinning, retreating into the deepest corner of the house, the one the light never quite reached. The front door opened. "Mary?" her mother called. The house felt normal again. Too normal. Mary didn't answer. She stayed where she was, Milo shaking beside her, her eyes fixed on the corner where the darkness still felt wrong. Because even as her parents rushed in, even as the lights came on, Mary knew. She knew that something with bright, patient eyes had learned where she lived, and it had learned how to wait. 2 weeks later, the girl's name was Clara. She stood alone at the last bus stop on a rural road, her breath turning white in the cold Christmas air. Snow covered the ground in a thin, uneven layer, disturbed only by her footprints and the faint tire marks left hours earlier. There were no houses nearby, no decorations, no glowing windows, just an empty road stretching into darkness in both directions. The bus was late. Clara checked her phone again, even though she already knew what it would say. No new notifications, no signal bars, just the time glowing softly at the top of the screen. Earlier, her mother had texted her, "The bus is delayed. Stay where you are. We'll meet you at home." It was supposed to be simple. The last ride, 5 minutes of waiting, then warmth, lights, Christmas music still playing faintly in the house. She hugged her coat tighter and stepped under the bus shelter. The streetlight above her flickered, buzzed, then steadied. That was when Clara noticed the silence. Not the normal quiet of snow, but something heavier. No wind brushing the trees, no distant engines, no dogs barking in the far-off houses. Even the snow felt muted, as if the world had been wrapped in thick, soundproof cloth. The only sound left was the electrical hum of the streetlight. Clara shifted her weight from one foot to the other. Her boots scraped softly against the concrete. Then the light went out. Complete darkness swallowed the bus stop. Clara froze. Her breath sounded far too loud in her ears. She suddenly became aware of her heartbeat, steady but fast, and the cold air filling her lungs. Then she heard it. Footsteps. Behind her. Slow, deliberate. Each step pressing into snow and asphalt with a careful, measured weight. They weren't rushing. They weren't sneaking. They were matching her breathing. Inhale. Step. Exhale. Step. Clara spun around. There was nothing there. The road behind her lay empty, the snow untouched by any new prints. No movement, no shape, no sound. The absence felt deeply wrong. Before she could take another breath, the streetlight flickered back on, and a shadow stood inside the shelter with her. It was pressed against the far wall, stretched thin and tall, its edges blurred where light should have defined them. It was too long for the space it occupied, as if it had been folded there improperly. It did not cast a shadow of its own. It was the shadow. Clara stepped back, her heel bumping hard against the bench. The footsteps stopped. The thing did not move. It didn't need to. Its presence bent the darkness around it, pulling light inward, dulling the very edges of the world. Clara felt watched. Not hunted, not threatened, but examined. Like something deciding. Her phone vibrated in her hand. She looked down quickly. Blank screen. No message, no signal. Just her own reflection staring back at her, pale and terrified. The shadow stretched. Not by walking. Not by stepping. It slid forward, thinning and lengthening across the snow, its shape reaching toward her without closing the distance. The air around it felt colder, sharper, like standing too close to deep frozen water. Clara backed away, step by careful step, her boots crunching loudly in the dead silence. Then far down the road, headlights appeared. The bus. Relief washed through her chest, sudden and overwhelming. But it didn't last. As the bus grew closer, the shadow changed. It darkened. It sharpened. It began to pull itself away from the wall, separating like a stain being peeled from fabric. The shelter's glass panels reflected nothing where it stood. The headlights illuminated the snow, casting long, trembling shadows across the road. The bus slowed. Its doors hissed open. Warm, yellow light spilled out, cutting a perfect, inviting rectangle through the dark. Clara took one step forward. The shadow leaned closer. She felt the cold immediately pressing against her skin, seeping right through her coat. It didn't touch her. It didn't need to. It waited. In that moment, Clara understood something with terrifying clarity. It wasn't waiting for the bus. It was waiting for her choice. Behind her, the road was empty, silent, endless. In front of her, the bus door stood open, beckoning her to safety. The driver did not look at her. The shadow remained still, patient, ancient. Clara's breath trembled as she stepped closer to the bus. The cold receded slightly, but the darkness followed. As her foot touched the first step, she felt it. Not a hand, not a whisper, a presence sliding into the space behind her eyes, settling somewhere deep and quiet, like a thought she hadn't chosen. The bus doors closed, the engine rumbled. As the bus pulled away, Clara looked out the window. The bus stop was empty, but the shadow was no longer there. It was already with her. And as the Christmas lights of the distant town came into view, Clara realized she would never again wait alone in the dark, because something had learned how to follow her home. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more chills. Stay safe out there.